Chuck Norris has never had to pay taxes ever.
Is that true?
That's not true. That is not true.
Norris is an American martial artist and actor. After serving in the U.S. Army, he became famous in the field of martial arts, from which he founded his own martial arts school, Chun Kuk. Not only that, he is also a famous actor who has appeared in many blockbuster martial arts films. However, when his career was very successful, Norris decided to put his acting career on hold. Are you curious about why Norris made such a decision? Was his wife's health the biggest reason for this decision? Let's find out the truth right away. Before finding out the truth, let's review some information about Norris's life and acting career. Norris's life. From childhood to discharge. Charles Ray Chuck Norris is an American actor, director, screenwriter, and martial artist. After being in the U.S. Army, he became famous as a martial arts star. He then opened his own martial arts school called Chun Kuk. Norris was in a number of action movies, including Way of the Dragon with Bruce Lee. In the 1980s, he was a big star for the Cannon Group. After that, from 1993 to 2001, he played the lead role in the TV show Walker, Texas Ranger. Conservative politics are important to Norris because he is a faithful Christian. He has written a number of books about Christianity and backed Republican politicians and causes. Wilma, née Scarberry, and Ray D. Norris had him on March 10, 1940, in Ryan, Oklahoma. Ray D. Norris was in the Army during Wheat and worked as a mechanic, bus driver, and truck driver. For his part, Norris has said that he is Irish and Cherokee. Norris was named for Carlos Berry, who was his dad's preacher. He had 3 brothers. Wieland and Aaron were his younger brothers. Wieland Norris told his oldest brother that he wouldn't make it to his 27th birthday. In 1970, he was killed in the Vietnam War, proving what he had said. His parents split up when he was 16, and his mother married George Knight, who had been widowed. The young man learned to love sports from his dad, who also showed him how to be a loving husband and father. After that, he moved with his mother and boys to Prairie Village, Kansas, and then to Torrance, California. Norris has said that his childhood was sad. He wasn't sporty, was shy, and wasn't very smart. Ray was his father. He sometimes worked as a car mechanic and sometimes drank too much for months at a time. Because of his father's bad behavior and the family's lack of money, Norris became very shy and stayed that way all through his childhood. When young Carlos thought about how hungry and poor he was, he started working early. It was in high school that he got a job as a washer. He gave some of the money to his mom and grandma so they could take care of his younger brothers. He bought his first big thing, a used car, and his first passenger was Diane Holcheck, a friend. The shy young man was in love with the girl at that time, but he didn't know that she would marry him and have his children. Carlos joined the U.S. Army when he turned 18. While he was in training, he asked Diane to marry him. During one of his tours of duty, they got married. When he joined the U.S. Air Force in 1958, he was sent to Osan Air Base in South Korea as a police officer. There, he got the nickname Chuck and became very interested in training Tang Soo Do. He got his black belt and started laying the groundwork for Chun Kuk Do, which he later created. He finished his military service at March Air Force Base in California after coming back to the United States. In August 1962, Norris was let go. He started a chain of karate schools and worked for the Northrop Corporation. One of them was on Hawthorne Boulevard in Torrance, which would become his hometown. On his website, Norris names famous people who went to his schools, such as Steve McQueen, Chad McQueen, Bob Barker, Priscilla Presley, Donny Osmond, and Marie Osmond. In 1962, he and Diane also had their first child, a son named Michael, to help support his family. The young father started working part-time by teaching martial arts in his basement. This part-time job turned into a real business over time. Chuck started his own karate school. By 1965, the school had spread across the U.S. and had training rooms all over the country. Diane also added another boy to Chuck's family when she had Eric. Martial arts career. In his first 2 competitions, Norris was defeated by Joe Louis and Alan Steen. Additionally, he lost 3 matches against Tony Tulliners at the International Karate Championships. By the year 1967, he had reached a level of proficiency in martial arts that allowed him to triumph against masters such as Louis, Skipper Mullins, Arnold Urquidez, Victor Moore, Ron Marchini, and Steve Sanders. At the beginning of 1968, Norris was defeated by Luis Delgado, which was the 10th and final defeat of his overall career. In a fight that took place on November 24, 1968, Norris successfully avenged his loss against Delgado and won the professional middleweight karate championship title. He went on to hold this championship for a period of 6 years in a row. In 1969, he was awarded the Black Belt Magazine Fighter of the Year title in addition to winning the Karate Triple Crown, which is the highest number of tournaments won in a single year. When Norris was acknowledged as an 8th-degree black belt grandmaster in 1990, he created history by becoming the first Westerner in the history of Taekwondo to achieve this particular accomplishment. By being inducted into the Hall of Fame of the Martial Arts History Museum in 1999, Norris was rewarded with this kind of recognition. It was on July 1, 2000, that Norris was presented with the Gold Award for Lifetime Achievement by the World Karate Hall of Fame. Acting career. His first win was at the All-Star Championship in Los Angeles in 1965. His second win was the World Karate Light Heavyweight title in 1968. He was in charge for 7 years with that title. A lot of famous people started to sign up to train with Chuck Norris because it became a big deal. People like Priscilla Presley, who was married to Elvis Presley, and Steve McQueen, who was a famous star in Hollywood. It was he who told Chuck that he should try acting. Norris's name wasn't even in the credits for the first movie. In 1968's crime comedy The Wrecking Crew, he played a normal thug and was on screen for about 3 minutes. The real turning point in Chuck's career was when he met Bruce Lee. The year was 1972, and Chuck was asked to be in the movie The Way of the Dragon. The new actor played the bad guy. Lee and Norris worked on getting ready for the fight scene for a few weeks. They worked with a trainer to make sure that every move was perfect for the fight. This led to the huge success of the action movie The Way of the Dragon, which gave our hero his first taste of fame. Because they became such good friends on set, Norris was one of the people who took Lee's body to the graveside when he died in 1973. After a great first movie, Chuck was offered a small part in the comedy The Student Teachers, and then the bad guy in the low-budget Hong Kong action movie Slaughters in San Francisco. Also, the movie was made in 1974, but it didn't come out in theaters in the U.S. until 1977, when the movie studio could use Chuck Norris's fame to their advantage. The Estelle Harmon Acting School taught our hero better acting skills along with filming. This was because bigger roles needed better acting skills. His age made him the oldest student there. He was already 34 years old at the time. Chuck got his first big part in 1977, so all of his hard work paid off. He was a tough truck driver in the movie Breaker Breaker who was looking for his lost younger brother. The little-known actor's fee was only $10,000, but it's now $40,000 for the next movie. Good Guys Wear Black is an American martial arts action movie from 1978 that stars Chuck Norris and was directed by Ted Post. The movie is about U.S. Senator Conrad Morgan, James Franciscus, who made a deal with North Vietnamese negotiator Quang Nguyen in Paris to end the Vietnam War. Morgan was the main U.S. official in those talks. In exchange for Morgan putting up a death trap for the Black Tigers, an elite group of CIA killers, Nguyen agreed to free some important CIA prisoners of war. After the treaty was signed, the Black Tigers were sent into the Vietnam jungle, where they died because they were told they were there to free American prisoners of war. One thing the officials forgot to take into account, though, was that Major John T. Booker, Chuck Norris, was in charge of the commandos team. Booker and the 4 men who were smart enough to stay close to him lived despite all odds. After coming back from Vietnam 5 years ago, Booker now lives in Los Angeles and works as a political science professor at UCLA. He also likes to drive race cars for fun. Booker gives talks at UCLA about how the war and the U.S. should not have happened because they were wrong. Someone smart named Margaret Ann Archer, a reporter, is listening to one of his talks. She has some very specific questions about the failed rescue plan. They are shocked to find that someone is slowly killing the Special Forces team members who are still alive. Booker is thrown back into his past when Morgan is named Secretary of State. This makes Yen threaten to kill the Black Tigers as part of an unfinished deal with Booker's former discussion partner. That's what Norris thinks of as his first big lead part. Since no company wanted to put it out, Norris and his producers rented out theaters and kept the money that came in. Even though it only cost $1 million to make, the movie made over $18 million at the box office. In the 1970s, action movies from Hong Kong, especially Bruce Lee movies and Bruceploitation movies, were popular. But Norris's success with Good Guys Wear Black made him the first successful American martial arts star. He was already famous as a bad guy in Lee's Way of the Dragon. Good Guys Wear Black was different from other martial arts movies because it was set in and about America and had American characters, themes, and politics. Norris continued to use this strategy in his later movies. In another movie, A Force of One, Norris played a karate winner who taught police martial arts. He got $125,000 for the part. Since then, Chuck has become very famous, and every year action movie fans look forward to movies with him in them. The Octagon, which came out in 1908, was about a rich woman's bodyguard. An Eye for an Eye, which came out in 1981, was about a police officer. His fees went up to $250,000. In 1982, two movies came out at the same time, Forced Vengeance and Silent Rage. Norris played a ranger for the first time in the 1983 movie Lone Wolf McQuade. The active performer was becoming more and more well-known. There was a time when he was a big star at the Canon Pictures Film Company. He agreed to make 5 movies for them. The stories they told were interesting and varied, and the crowd liked them. At that time, the most well-known movie was Missing in Action, which was about a Vietnam War hero who goes back to find and save his fellow soldiers. Also, Chuck made this action movie and its follow-up, Missing in Action, To the Beginning, as a tribute to his brother Veland, who died in Vietnam in 1970. After the follow-up, Braddock, Missing in Action 3, came out in 1980. Norris said he would fight the Canon Film Company for not advertising the movie well enough. The star himself thought this was the best movie he had ever been in. Let's go back to 1985, though. In 12 movies between that year and 1993, including Code of Silence, Invasion USA, The Delta Force, Firewalker, Hero and the Terror, Delta Force 2, The Colombian Connection, The Hitman, and Sidekicks, the actor showed off his famous U-turn kick. People who watch these movies are treated to the expected happy ends, fight scenes where Chuck wins, and small love stories. The actor also did voice work for the cartoon show Chuck Norris Karate Commandos. Charles Chuck's personal life and his job were both going through big changes. He was married to Diane Holchick for 30 years before they decided to split up in 1989. The split was friendly and didn't cause any trouble. The ex-spouses have kept good relationships with their adult children and each other. The big break that made Chuck Norris famous all over the world was when shooting for the TV show Walker, Texas Ranger began. The show has been on American TV for a long 9 seasons, including the pilot season. It's about a Texas Ranger named Cordell Walker who fights crime in his home state. You might think that the show's main focus is on exciting fight scenes at first glance, but a closer look shows that the writers put a lot of thought into family values and friendship. A loving father and husband. Cordell Walker is always ready to protect his family and help his friends. He is tough at work. Every episode talks about these things, which makes the show even more interesting to watch. Also, the fight scenes are great, and some of them became famous. Even though Chuck was busy with the show, movies with him in them kept coming out almost every year. Hellbound, Wind in the Wire, Top Dog, Forest Warrior, Logan's War, Bound by Honor, The President's Man, and the TV show Sons of Thunder and Martial Law are some of them. Norris also didn't forget about his coaching work. In 1997, he released a video called Chuck Norris Private Lesson that showed clearly how to do the punches, kicks, and techniques that are part of some types of martial arts. During the same time, the star fell in love with someone else. Gina O'Kelly was the model and creator. Cindy was 35 years old and Chuck was 58 years old when they got married in 1998. The two of them had already been married and had kids. They got married soon after meeting because, as the star himself says, it was love at first sight. After 3 years, They had twins with the help of IUI, a girl named Dana Lee and a boy named Dakota. There were rumors that Walker, Texas Ranger wasn't meant to end in 2001. At least 2 more seasons of the show were going to be added. Norris decides to hang up his cowboy hat, though, after hearing that Gina is pregnant. During this time, Chuck's playing career took a back seat as he focused on other things. When acting is no longer everything for Norris, Chuck began writing books, and 3 of them were big hits. A new book by Chuck is called Black Belt Patriotism: How to Reawaken America. The actor also got involved in his social life and spoke out for religion and traditional values. In 2006, he started writing a column for a right-wing political magazine. In it, he talked about his views. In fact, Chuck is still strongly against legalizing marriages between people of the same gender and for the freedom to carry guns. Norris served on the board of the National Council on Bible Curriculum in Public Schools with his wife. On this board, he is a strong supporter of making prayer a required part of school life. Norris also started an organization that uses martial arts to help kids and teens get over their addictions. Norris set up the United Fighting Arts Federation and Kickstart Kids in 1990. As a big part of his charitable work, he started the group to help kids build their self-esteem and stay away from drug-related pressure by teaching them martial arts. Norris hopes that by directing the attention of middle school and high school students to this positive and uplifting project, these kids will be able to make a better future for themselves. Norris has a ranch in Navasota, Texas, where they bottle water. Some of the money they make from the sales goes to environmental causes and Kickstart Kids. He is known for his donations and actions that raise money for groups like Funds for Kids, the United Way, the Veterans Administration National Salute to Hospitalized Veterans, and the Make-A-Wish Foundation. His time as a spokesman for the U.S. Veterans Administration was influenced by his time in Korea with the U.S. Air Force. His goal has been to bring attention to problems like pensions and health care that affect hospitalized war veterans. He won the Veteran of the Year award at the American Veteran Awards in 2001 for his important service and ongoing support. Norris gives money to the Vijay Amritraj Foundation in India. This foundation helps people who have been hurt by illness, disaster, or bad luck. Because of his gifts, the foundation has been able to support HIV/AIDS homes for children in Delhi, a school for the blind in Karnataka, and a mission in Cochin that helps HIV/AIDS infected adults and people who are mentally ill. At the same time, the action star was in the movies The Cutter, A Line in the Sand, Bells of Innocence, The President's Man, and A True Underdog Story. The Walker. Texas Ranger team got back together in 2005 to make Walker, Texas Ranger, Trial by Fire, a full-length movie. There were plans to make several more versions, but the old-school Walker didn't do very well with critics. People in the U.S. know Norris for making strong political comments. In 2009, for example, he said that Texans might want to make their own country out of their own land. Additionally, the star said he was sure he would be a great choice for president of the newly created state. Some years went by before Chuck Norris was seen in a movie again. But in 2012, he joined Sylvester Stallone's second movie series as part of The Expendables. In the movie Good Guys Wear Black, Chuck Norris plays a character named John T. Booker, which is where the name Booker comes from. Also, Norris plays a former soldier in both movies who helps his old friends by taking part in a rescue operation. Both audiences and reviews liked the movie a lot, and it made $315 million at the box office. In 2017, sad news came out about our hero's personal life. The reason why Norris gave up acting career: he said that the illness that killed his beloved wife Gina was the reason he quit playing. Following this, the spouses filed a case against 11 companies that made and sold drugs used in MRI. Norris claimed that these drugs were to blame for Gina's serious health issues and asked for more than $10 million in damages. They say that Gina had a normal MRI in 2013. A few days later, the young, healthy woman woke up in the middle of the night with terrible abdominal pain and had to stay in the intensive care unit for a few days. As time went on, the symptoms got worse and included trembling, muscle weakness, low body temperature, hair loss, weight loss, and tremors. At one point, things got so bad that the woman could no longer take care of herself. Her husband kept his promise to be there for her in sickness and in health by skipping work to care for Gina until she was fully healed. It was hard to tell how the drug poisoning lawsuit would turn out. At Norris's request, the case was thrown out without a settlement, and both sides decided to pay their own legal fees. Even though the woman recovered and lived after a long time of therapeutic treatment, her health was very bad. People know that Norris now tries to spend as much time as possible with his family and travel a lot, even though fights like these used to bother him too. The actor had 2 heart problems right after each other. Just so you know, this isn't the only time Norris has been sued. Chuck sued Sony Pictures and CBS in 2018 because CBS owns the rights to show Walker, Texas Ranger. At first, CBS decided to give the actor 23% of all profits from all broadcasts. However, the actor said that he wasn't getting enough money from people watching the show on online streaming services. The star asked for $30 million to be paid. It is worth mentioning that Norris is an honorary Texan. It wasn't just because he lived on a ranch in Texas for a long time. It was also because of his parts as Texas Ranger Walker and Lone Wolf McQuade. Life in Texas. Chuck spent a lot of his life in the state of Texas. The beautiful 2,100-square-foot home he owned in the Northwood Hills neighborhood of Dallas was his for a long time. A video room, a pool surrounded by lush plants, a large patio, a gym, and even an elevator were some of the things that the 4-bedroom house had. The house was put on the market in 2013 for $2 million, or $1, $6 million according to other accounts. After a few years, the actor's home in North Houston, California, was put on the market for $3.5 million. There was a floor-to-ceiling glass entryway in the middle of the 2-story house. The brick walls and wooden posts and beams went well with the style as a whole. The farm has a lake, a saltwater pool, and trees that cost more than $1 million to plant. The Norris family lives on a ranch in Navasota, Texas, at the moment. His home has a gym, stables, and other typical famous things, but it also has a Chuck Norris museum and a real alligator. In addition, the ranch has a lake, and the family gets around the land in military vehicles. American pickup trucks are another car that our hero really likes. His truck was a Ford F-350 and a snow-white truck that looked like it was seen near his land. The house that Chuck Norris owns is more than just a good investment. Another great thing about it is that it's right next door to Seaforce Bottle Co., which is one of the biggest privately owned water bottle companies. It takes up almost 3 square miles of factory room. Chuck and his wife started the Seaforce water brand in 2015. The actor, of course, became the face of the water's ads. Also, this isn't Chuck's only source of income. Anyone can order a video welcome from Cordell Walker for only $300. That's not bad for a 2-minute movie that was taken with a phone in front of you. He also made money from the cell phone game Nonstop Chuck Norris. People who play the game can become Chuck Norris's partner and fight a huge variety of monsters. Social media fame. We also can't ignore the fact that Chuck Norris is very popular online. It's easy to come up with jokes and memes about his whole acting career, because his figures can't be hurt. They've been the subject of more than 500,000 memes, which are called Chuck Norris facts. People often say that Chuck Norris is an unbeatable hero who can handle any situation and beat anyone. Like, Chuck Norris doesn't have a chin under his beard. That's another fist. He used to stare at the sun for hours on end. The sun stopped working and blinked. Or an onion cries when Chuck Norris cuts it. In his own words, the actor says this is his best joke. Memes are actually made by more than just people on the internet. Whole companies are involved. Google has set up an Easter egg for people who are looking for information about the star on the web. You'll be taken to an article with the following text if you type "Find Chuck Norris" into the search box and hit "I'm feeling lucky." And Google knows that you won't find Chuck Norris when you look for him. He finds you. You could also be searched for on the web before he finds you or someone else. Many people made memes about the actor in the 2000s. In response, Norris put out the official Chuck Norris Fact Book 101, which had 101 of his favorite facts and stories, and also appeared in a commercial based on the jokes. The motto in the ads says that Chuck Norris makes it possible for 10 million people to play World of Warcraft. Many companies used Chuck in their ads because he had a sellable image as someone who couldn't be hurt. This American actor played a part in a Toyota ad. The pickup truck turned into a superhero because of his autograph on the front bumper. He also became the face of AB InBev's gluten-free beer. There were new videos on the World of Tanks YouTube page in 2021 for the New Year's Eve offensive from Chuck, the T-Mobile group of companies, a poker game, and Fiat cars. Right now, Chuck is a happy husband, dad, and grandpa. He has 13 grandkids, coming from his 5 children. It is thought that he is worth about $70 million. His only job is to spend time with his family, help kids and teens get clean, and do volunteer work. In the past few years, the actor has only gone back to shooting once, for an episode of the TV show Hawaii Five-0. Norris's political views. Norris is a Republican who speaks out against government spending. The far-right WorldNet Daily hires Norris to write a piece. In an interview after the 1984 movie Missing in Action came out, Norris said he was a big Ronald Reagan fan, a real Republican, and someone who waved the flag a lot. He didn't really take a side with either Republicans or Democrats. He liked the person more. Ronald Reagan doesn't mind if people don't agree with him. He just says what he thinks. Nixon is a strong leader, and Norris wants one too. He has made people feel better about their country and more loyal since he took office. Norris went to Iraq in 2007 to see U.S. troops. Norris backed Mike Huckabee's failed presidential campaign in the 2008 Republican Party primaries. He made headlines when he said that John McCain, the final Republican nominee, was too old to handle the stress of being president. He said that he supported McCain for president in 2008, and emphasized how excited he was about Sarah Palin, who was running with McCain on the Republican ticket. When Norris spoke out in support of California Proposition 8 against same-sex marriage for the first time in show business on November 18, 2008, he was one of the first people in the entertainment industry to do so. He criticized activists for not respecting the democratic process and what he saw as a bias against African Americans, most of whom had voted for the measure. In 2009, Norris said that he believed in the birther theory about Barack Obama. In the letter that was made public by WorldNet Daily, Norris said that he thought it was odd that President Obama wouldn't share his birth certificate and asked him to stop the rumors of a plot against him. WorldNet Daily published Norris's 5-part investigation into the infiltration of Sharia law into United States culture on April 11, 2011, in a story posted on Amaland. Come on June 26, 2012, Norris said that the Obama administration had paid Jim Turley, who was on the national board of the Boy Scouts of America at the time, to change the organization's policy so that gay youth could join. During the 2012 race for president, Norris first backed Ron Paul as a Republican candidate, and then he officially backed Newt Gingrich. After Gingrich stopped running for office in May 2012, Norris backed Mitt Romney as the likely Republican choice, even though Norris had earlier said Romney was changing his mind and trying to buy the nomination for the Republican Party candidate for 2012. In the 2013 and 2015 elections, Norris backed Benjamin Netanyahu, who was Prime Minister of Israel from 2013 to 2015. In the 2016 Republican primaries, Norris backed Huckabee again before he dropped out. In March 2016, it was said that Norris would be attending a Cruz rally and endorsing Republican Senator Ted Cruz. However, 2 days later, Norris said that he would only support the GOP candidate after the party chose that nominee. In July 2016, Norris urged Republican voters to work together and choose Donald Trump as the GOP candidate. Later, Norris backed Roy Moore, the former Chief Justice of Alabama, in the 2017 special election for the U.S. Senate in Alabama. In 2019, Norris signed a deal to promote the gun company Glock. Some people, including some of his friends, didn't like the deal. They thought it was made at the wrong time since school shootings have become more common in the U.S. Norris said in 2021 that he would vote for radio talk show host Larry Elder in the 2021 gubernatorial race to remove Governor Gavin Newsom from office. It was by the time Cordell Walker was 84 years old that he had demonstrated that he was cool in everything that he did. Not only is Chuck Norris an outstanding actor and martial artist, But he is also a prominent figure in popular culture, and his career and legends are only anticipated to continue to expand. Chuck Norris is still considered a legend in the realm of entertainment and popular culture due to the fact that he is famous all over the world and has an influence that extends beyond the screen. Do you like Chuck Norris? Please let us know what you think of him in the comments section below. If you find this video interesting, please like and share it. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss our next interesting videos. Thank you for watching the video.